And welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Jason Dagate, filling in for Martin False on this Wednesday night. And joining us now, the mayor of the city of Thibodaux, Tommy Eschete. And on the right side of your screen, the police chief of the city of Thibodaux, Scott Silverii. Gentlemen, again, welcome to the program, and we thank you once again for joining us.
Good to be as always, Jason.
Sure. And want to invite the any viewers out there from the city of Thibodaux or anybody who may have a question or a comment regarding the city, if you'd like to call in to ask a question to Mayor Eschete or the Chief of Police, 879-1231. Give us a call, and we'll make sure we pop you right on through. Again, let's just recap everything. The 4th of July, great 4th of July. Start things off on a positive note for the city of Thibodaux. Everything seems to have gone fine.
Absolutely. You know, we had a great function over at Peltier Park Monday, and like I said, barring any unforeseen issues, maybe with the police department, which we had none, everybody had a good time. So this was one of the few years we got through the whole day with no rain, but Mother Nature sent the heat down on us. But the veterans told me they'd much rather the heat than the rain, so everything went really well for them.
Right, and I'm sure, Chief, your officers in uniform appreciate, I don't know, do they rather the rain or the heat?
Well, I don't know, chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It is, yeah.
The air conditioning in the car probably better at this time of year. But that's good that the citizens were calm and everybody abided by the law, and we're thankful for everybody, and we attribute that for everybody having personal responsibility. Mayor, let's start with you regarding some issues regarding some recommendations that your office is making regarding charter amendments.
Right. Jason, we've been going through, I guess, we've been in office a little over 6 months, going on 7 months now. And, what we're trying to do is follow the plan that I basically promised the citizens of Thibodaux that I would follow for the next 4 years. One of the big issues in there was a review of our home rule charter. And I did promise that I would look at term limits, because during the campaign, I had so many people approach me about the issue, and that there were so many individuals who were in favor of looking at the possibility of including that in our home rule charter. Currently, we have no term limits for the mayor or the city council, but it seemed like there was just interest in that issue. So I did promise people that I would approach the council and ask them to consider reviewing the charter and putting term limits on the ballot for the voters of the city to vote on. And we've done that. That is one of 3 of the major issues that is going to be on the ballot in October. What it proposes is a term limit of 3 terms for the mayor. It doesn't address the city council. But again, I'm a firm believer in that. I believe in career employees for government. I just don't believe in career politicians. I really believe that there are individuals within our community who are certainly capable, just as capable as I am, and the mayors before me were capable to serve in that capacity. And I really believe change breeds new ideas, fresh ideas. That was what my campaign was all about, and I promised that I would bring this to the voters. So this is one of the issues that I feel like I'm fulfilling a promise to them. Along with term limits, I also believe that we need to have our department heads, the department heads that I appoint, accountable. And in our current charter, what it does basically is require confirmation of department heads only when they're appointed. If we have a re-election of a mayor, he can keep his department heads on without being reconfirmed, which to me, I think they should be confirmed along with a new administration, whether it be a re-elected official or a newly elected official, because you may have a new council, that would like to have an opportunity to decide if that's the department head they want in office at that time. Plus, it gives the old council members the opportunity to I guess, really just confirm that you made the right decision 4 years ago. If they feel like this individual's not doing what they should be doing, it gives them a right to I guess, give them sort of a no vote. That was the other issue. The third issue really dealt with what we call a pre-budget conference in our charter, which was sort of optional. And what it does is really the only opportunity for the public to come in prior to the budget actually being presented in a hard copy form and give some ideas to the council and to the mayor as to what maybe they'd like to see in capital projects, or just maybe issues that they'd like to be addressed that would be a fiscal matter, might be addressed through the budget. And instead of having this as an optional pre-budget conference meeting, the change would actually make it mandatory. It would set it for a certain time of the year, which would still give our finance department ample time to prepare their budget, but give the public some time to give us some input. Not that the council can't do that, because they can, but it would give them, a chance to sit across the desk from us and give their input prior to the budget being, put in its draft form, and hopefully give them an opportunity to voice their opinion on that.
So this would allow the public to come in, see the proposed budget, or if
Well,
you
actually
will?
be prior to the proposed budget, so that, if there are some issues that come up that certainly piques the interest of the council members or myself,
Yeah.
then we can include it in the first, proposed budget. So we're sort of a step ahead, so that we don't have citizens come in once the budget's drafted and say, well, what about this? And they say, well, we're past that planning stage now. We're into a point where we just decide to include it or not. We want to include them in the planning stage. So this will give them an opportunity to voice their opinion and give us some input prior to that first draft being proposed to the council.
Okay, and you mentioned about the department heads. Now, some government employees or civil service employees, the department heads, they serve at the pleasure of the mayor, if you will, so they are not...
That is correct. I mean, I don't recall right off the top of my head how many it is. It may be, 10 to 12 individuals that we have the right to appoint, that I have the right to appoint, that the council has to confirm. Those individuals are not classified. They don't fall within the civil service system for the city of Thibodaux. So, in essence, they serve at the pleasure of the mayor. The only issue that would come up is if the council, council have an opportunity to confirm them upon appointment, but then the council has no opportunity to, again, consider or evaluate their performance and reconfirm them at a later date. It's sort of, you get just one shot at it, and after that it's done. And really, a lot of the individuals we appoint, the council don't know much about, especially with a newly elected mayor like myself. There's a lot of individuals that did come on. I did retain quite a few from the previous administration, but the new individuals, such as Scott, the council didn't know anything about. I'm hoping that, 4 years from now, they're going to say, he did a great job, but what if some of them decide that they don't think he did such a great job? Well, it gives them an opportunity to decide whether or not to reconfirm him if I were to be reelected,
Right, and I guess it also creates an incentive for your employer or those people you put in charge to not just get caught in the status quo.
I agree, and what it does, I mean, the department heads are accountable, but to me, I think they need to be accountable to the council, and that goes into being accountable to John Q. Public. So I think it just gives a little bit more an openness, some accountability to what we're trying to do. Again, we always try to be open about what we do, and I think that just lends a sense of, I don't know if you want to call it fairness to the council by allowing them the opportunity to do that every 4 years.
Well, good. Speaking of accountability, and we appreciate your forwardness with the issue regarding the arrest of the Parks and Recreation employees regarding what had been going on. If you could just provide us an update as where we are at this point in time with that situation.
Sure. That was probably, in the last 7 months, probably, that was not very fun. That was probably one of the most disappointing things that has happened since we've taken office. But it's there. It is what it is, and it's something that we have to deal with. Unfortunately, I knew both of the employees. If you would have asked me before the incident happened what kind of people they were, I'd tell you they were hardworking, good employees. Unfortunately, they made some poor decisions. And in light of that, we decided we had to take action. What happened during the police department's investigations, they basically confirmed our suspicions of some criminal activity. Once that happened, we brought that to light as far as the judges are concerned. Arrest warrants were issued, and those two employees were arrested. I think, they have been terminated by the city. Of course, they have some due process to complete within civil service because they can contest their termination, but they're going through that process now, and of course, I don't know about trial dates as far as, when they're going to actually be arraigned or anything like that. I can tell you that our investigation is ongoing.
Okay.
We want to make sure that we've uncovered every bit of evidence we can, and if there are any other individuals that may have been involved in that, whether they're current or past employees, we want to make sure that we can discover that, because when you talk about community service, we're talking about sentences handed down by the judicial system.
That's right.
And I can assure you that there's some judges in our judicial district, 17th judicial district, that aren't too happy right now. And so we need to make sure that we find out not only our employees, but those individuals who were sentenced that didn't carry out their community service as a part of their sentence. I know the judges want to know that. So,
Right.
Again, our investigation's ongoing. Scott may be able to give you a little bit more about that, but that's sort of where we're at as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, Scott, I mean, what was your role or your department's role in this investigation?
Sure. Well, we worked closely with the mayor's office. They had the information that came forward, and again, it was just the right thing to do. So we assigned it to our detective bureau, and it involves some undercover operations. Again, once we established the probable cause, we felt we needed to apply for a warrant, secure it. We did so, and it effected that arrest. And then, of course, in investigating that arrest, it led us to a second. But where we're at this point is, again, like the mayor said, we're looking at current, former employees, anyone that had if anyone had any part to do with this. So what we've actually done is gone back for 3 years. Everyone that's ever signed up for our community service programs, we're reaching out to these individuals, interviewing some of these individuals. And of course, if we get information that leads us to another suspect, then we're going to establish probable cause, secure the warrant, and effect the arrest.
Okay, so this was it something that came to the police department's attention first, or did it originally come to the mayor's office?
It came to the mayor's office first.
Okay, and you turned it over to the city.
Yeah, I mean, when we have it was a pretty serious allegation when
Yeah.
it came out, but there were some issues that led me to believe there may be some substance to it. So, immediately we went to Scott and asked him to investigate it, and, unfortunately, what we found out is that, it was happening. So,
Okay.
I think, again, being open and being accountable, we need to make sure that our citizens realize we're going to do the right thing. And, nobody wants to certainly expose the fact that we have some public employees who, are supposed to be trustworthy that in this particular instance weren't. And if that's the case, we're not going to sweep it under the rug. We're going to do what we have to do to make sure that that they're accountable for their actions. And I think that basically that's where we're at right now.
And so they have been terminated from their positions. As far as any criminal proceeding, though, they have their right to trial and their day in court, which they will go through at that point in time.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Let's take a short break. When we come back, I know we have some information you want to talk about regarding the police department itself, but we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more with the mayor of the city of Thibodaux and the chief of police. Also, 879-1231 if you'd like to get involved. I know the number wasn't on the bottom of your screen, but we are taking phone calls. I see there is one person on the line. If you're holding for a question for the mayor or the chief of police, I'll ask you to continue holding, and we'll get to your question right after the break.